Hello, I'm Sharon Morrison, and today I'd like to talk to you about the very emotive issue of losing weight. Apparently, 70% of how we look is what we eat, and 30%, just 30%, is down to exercise. So if you think you can exercise all the weight away, it's going to be a long old job because it's the eating that is the core of everything. I don't have any secrets to losing weight because I did it a very specific way, which is I cut right down on carbohydrates and went right up on protein. I'm not a clinician, I'm not a nutritionist, but I'm just going to share with you what works for me. So since 1995, I've cut right down on all the things that I love. Pasta, sugar, well, sugar's gone virtually, bread, flour, all the things that I love that will make a sauce taste great, or just it's a quick snack. But I realised that these kinds of things turn to sugar in your body, and that's not good for your body. So they don't feature in my diet after lunch. What I can have after lunch is as much meat, vegetables, fish, salads, all drizzled in olive oil as I like. And I can fry it in butter if I want to, and I can add cream. All of that worked for me. And I never ever denied myself the things that I also love, which is a nice G&T in the evening, a glass of wine, and then my favourite thing with a cup of tea is some chocolate. But the chocolate is only 80% and above cocoa solids. Initially it tastes quite disgusting, but you get used to it and then you can't live without it. So that's what I do right now. But how did I start? It was all because of a comment from a friend of mine who asked if I was expecting again. I'd given birth to my daughter, Jenny, in 1994, and there I was in 1995 wearing an oversized man's shirt with leggings, but hadn't quite lost all the baby weight. And to him, I looked like I was expecting again. And that was such a shock, I decided I had to do something about it once and for all. And I was lucky because at that time, there was a gentleman called Michel Montignac, and he'd written a book called Dine Out and Lose Weight. It was a regime that executives could follow because they're always eating out. And that was what I liked about the regime of his, because it involved alcohol. And I do like a drink. So I decided to food combine, which is basically eat proteins with one meal, carbohydrates as another, and never mix the two. It didn't initially work for me. But when I combined it with exercise, 3 hours a week, then the weight literally fell off, and it stayed off. And it only stayed off because all those carbohydrates I just kept on the down low, and I had a lot of protein. It's worked for me. I feel very healthy. I've had all my health checks. I don't have diabetes. My blood pressure is normal. All these things matter. But I think part of it is because I'm eating healthily, but I know what agrees with me, and cutting down on the carbs has been the one thing that's made the difference, combined with exercise at all. It's a little hard to follow initially. Once you get used to it, you actually love the diet and you never ever feel hungry, and that's the best kind of regime to follow.